All right, there we go. Alrighty, start the intro again. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Back to Dom and Gonz Sports Talk, the podcast where we not only talk about everything Baltimore Ravens, but around the NFL. I'm Gonz, that's Dom, and welcome back to another Baltimore Ravens live post-game reaction show where we're going to be breaking down the Ravens' victory in Week 4 and their matchup against the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens were able to escape Cleveland with a decisive 28-3 victory, which improves them to not only 3-1 overall, but 2-0 on the road in the division. So I think we're both excited to break this game down. Now, before we get into this, I just want to issue a short apology for no pregame live stream on the weekend. Dom and I got tied up in some life sort of things, to say the least. Dom had something going on Friday, and then Saturday we were going to make it up, and myself got tied up in some unexpected activities. So our apologies for no live stream on Friday/Saturday. But we should be good to go to resume those this week for our Week 5 matchup, and we'll keep you posted on what day that will be. But with all that being said, let's get into the reaction and the breakdown. Dom, how you doing tonight?
I'm feeling nice on this Victory Monday. What? After that domination on the Cleveland Browns, it just felt good to get the job done. And that's what we were talking about coming into this game. Get the job done. Come in and handle your business. That's what the Ravens came in and did. Can't wait to break down this victory because I feel as though, as much as I still feel like we had some things to improve on, there were some lights at the end of the tunnel, which I can appreciate.
Yes. Some nice things that happened and a couple things to clean up. We'll be going over everything. First of all, I think the most important thing that we should be talking about, the breaking headline story as we were approaching kickoff, was that the Browns decided not to go with their starting quarterback, Deshaun Watson. They were waiting to see how he would do in pregame warmups. He had not practiced hardly at all week. The Browns listed him as limited. However, he hardly threw the ball in practice this week. So they were going to wait until Sunday morning when they got to the stadium for pregame warmups, and they ultimately decided, and he himself also helped with that decision too, that he was not set to play, that he couldn't help his team win. His shoulder was not cooperating. So that threw rookie Dorian Thompson-Roberts, a guy we were talking about in the preseason as well, and also made some headlines in the 2023 preseason, thrust him into the fire in his first NFL start against a fast and aggressive Baltimore Ravens defense. And boy, did our defense have a field day on him. It was really nice to see. Now, I know it was a rookie, and I get that, but the Ravens had no control of that. And they had to play who was in front of them. And I don't feel bad because how many teams last year escaped victories against our Ravens when they had to face no Lamar and they faced our backups? So, I mean, stuff happens, and you can only play who's in front of you. But a lot of people, myself included, were thinking about how this game would have went if Watson played, but it looks like the Ravens still might have escaped with a victory even with Watson playing, because that defense, man, they were flying around. They were getting after the quarterback, and I know he was overthrowing some things, but I just want to give a shout-out to the Ravens defense for doing what they were supposed to do, taking care of business with a rookie quarterback who had never taken a snap in the NFL before, and they got the job done. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. If you want to be a team with championship aspirations, you need to go in there and you need to take care of business against an opponent with, a sort of an advantage like that. When you have your starters and they have a backup rookie quarterback that's never played before, make sure you capitalize on that opportunity, and I think the defense did.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what, and you pointed it out perfectly, getting the job done. Rookie quarterback, that is supposed to be lunch meat, okay? Like, when you see a rookie quarterback in the league, and this is no shade to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. We all know how great he was in the preseason, and I'm sure with more snaps and more, chances to start, I'm sure he'll be great. But when you have a rookie quarterback who has yet to take a regular season snap against actual NFL starters, you are supposed to, like, that's supposed to be lunch meat for you. And that was exactly what I felt like was supposed to be happening into going to the game when we heard the Watson news that he was not going to play. And boy, you were right. 4 sacks on the day from our defense. 3 interceptions from our defense. It just, as much as people are going to say, oh, he's a rookie, you know, blah, 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 Watson didn't play. Yeah, you're right. But at the end of the day, not a lot of people took it easy on us when we were getting beat up, banged up, and bruised. Shoot, we're still beat up, banged up, and bruised. We don't even have all of our starters. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the NFL, I mean, there's injuries, unfortunately. This season, we're seeing a lot of injuries transpire. Just today, we had Tre'Davious White. He's out for the season with an Achilles tear. Feel terrible for him because the Bills were looking dominant in their win against the Dolphins on Sunday. But at the end of the day, we came in, we handled our business, and that's what we need to do. That's what we should have did last weekend against Gardner Minshew. Now, I understand, though, Gardner Minshew, he's more of a veteran QB. He's been there, done that. He's been a starter. Like, he's not a scrub, to say the least. But this was a great bounce back for the defense, a defense that didn't really play too bad last weekend, but is continuing to build momentum even with these injuries that we are sustained. We're doing this. We still don't have Marlowe. Marcus Williams did not play. Ojabo and Owe are still out. Kyle Van Noy comes in. He comes in, and he played pretty well. Like, he got some great pressures in the backfield against Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Ford wasn't really too much of an issue. The run game wasn't really a problem against us. I feel like defensively we were clicking on all cylinders, and it's really great to see that even against a rookie QB because we went in and did what we were supposed to do. So I'm nothing but love for the defense. Shout out to Brandon Stevens for getting his first career interception. Kyle Hamilton gets his first career interception. That's really tough for the both of them. Very excited to see what else they do this season. But, yeah, man, this defense, it showed up and it showed out against a tough divisional opponent that we have had struggles with in the past. But it's really great to get these early divisional wins all out of the way now because playoff seeding will be very adherent to how we perform against our division rivals. So shout out to the defense for playing how they played.
All right, great. Now I'm ready to jump in here. You said bounce back performance for the whole team.
Absolutely,
not just the
Agreed.
defense. The defense did its thing last week, in my opinion.
Yeah, they played pretty well last weekend.
But I think this week they did a much better job. Like they put up a winning effort last week, and this week they just built upon that and made it a super strong effort. Which was probably the best thing in my opinion was the tackling. The tackling was phenomenal. There were hardly any missed tackles. Led by Roquan Smith, who had an unbelievable game. He was all over the place, just sniffing out every single Browns short throw. He was there. A screen, he was there. He nearly had an interception in two scenarios, just a little bit out of his reach, but he was able to get a paw on that and knock it away 2 different times. Man, they were really clogging up the passing lanes. The linebackers were involved in a lot of pass breakups down the middle of the field. I remember at least 2 or 3. They just were confusing this rookie, staring him down, reading his eyes, forcing him into bad decisions. And like you said, Brandon Stevens was able to intercept a pass. 3 people were able to intercept a pass. Brandon Stevens, Geno Stone on a wild overthrow, and, of course, Kyle Hamilton getting that interception at the end of the game to, of course, ice it and seal it. So that was nice to see. Some career firsts for some Ravens today. Or not today, yesterday. I really love the Brandon Stevens right place, right time interception. And another guy that we need to be talking about, Arthur Mallette. Man, he was everywhere too.
He was flying, man. He was
sticking to these receivers and then making some really good tackles in the run game. One of them, I believe, in the third quarter, he tracked down Kareem Hunt. It was either Kareem Hunt or Jeremy Ford, I can't remember, on outside zone stretch run. Took it all the way to the sideline. He did not give up ground. Dove, tackled him, lost a 3. It was beautiful. Unfortunately, he was one of the injuries where he had to leave the game. But I think he should be okay. I think he's got a concussion, so hopefully he can get well quick and be back next week. Speaking of a little bit of injuries, not so good news for David Ajabo today. Harbaugh updated us with a couple things. David Ajabo could potentially miss the year, according to some sources online, and that would be catastrophic. And again, I'd be feeling it's like, oh my gosh, here we go again with these edge rushers. David Ajabo, he cannot catch a break. He really
Yeah, man,
can't.
he can't stay
So
on the field, and I just
we're
feel
gonna
bad for him.
right, and it sucks because I'm really glad they brought in Kyle Van Noy. Like you said, instant impact player, transitioning back to the game, had a nice breakup. I thought Queen was going to intercept it. If he didn't stumble all over himself, he definitely would have picked it off. He knew it too because he laid on the ground for a good 10 seconds afterwards. That could have been a nice pick and set us up. But yeah, the defense did its thing. Another couple things. Jadeveon Clowney, very good performance, and he's been very good all year. He just needs to wrap up these quarterbacks. He keeps missing
Yeah,
these guys. He could have had like 5 sacks this year, but he just can't wrap these dudes up. I think he only has one, or maybe 1.5. I don't know. I'll look. We can check on that. But I know he had a good opportunity to get at least 2 sacks in this game, but he just let DTR escape his clutches multiple times, and he needs to wrap those guys up in the future because he's doing a really good job. He's doing the hard part. He's getting off the line of scrimmage, blowing by right tackles, and doing a great job. He just needs to wrap these dudes up. Show it in the stat sheet. He can get his little contract incentive very quickly if he keeps this up. But we really need him to wrap these guys up. I mean, it's so
yeah, agreed.
frustrating to see him barely miss these dudes.
And
It's
that's the
like,
one
come
critique.
on.
That's the one critique I would have. Is like we were. I noticed during games we've had great. Like, again, we had 4 that game. I can't fully complain, but like we have had trouble like getting guys down. Like we'll get back there. The pressure is there, but we're not really getting to them. So like it would be nice to see more of those pressures turn into sacks. So we'll see hopefully again as things, because they're coming together. Like these are guys we're just throwing into the mix, and everything hopefully they'll sort things out. They'll be more comfortable in the system. Mike McDonald is doing a fantastic job on getting these guys ready every Sunday, scheming up things greatly, confusing these rookie QBs. I mean, I'm impressed with how he's been playing in his position on our team so far. I hope we never get rid of him because he's been doing a great job as a defensive coordinator. So hopefully, as the season goes on, we'll see the defensive line, that front whatever, just get more comfortable, and then hopefully we'll start to see more sacks compile. We'll see
But
those
the
pressures
issue
turn into
with this
sacks.
is they need to get this figured out now because when they get to playing good quarterbacks, if they're going to extend the play, they're going to make you pay. If you send a blitz and you miss the sack just because you missed the tackle, they're going to beat you. They're going to
I
have a
agree.
lane.
I agree.
It's going to be a guy wide open. Fortunately, it was DTR on Sunday, and the Ravens secondary was actually having itself a day locking up those wide receivers, but that's not always going to be the case. So you need to make sure if you get an opportunity to take down the quarterback, you got to do it. Mahomes is going to make you pay. Other guys, Josh Allen's going to make you pay. Tua might make you pay, even though they got whooped on Sunday. It doesn't help their cause because remember I told them I need to see more from them against good teams, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, you gotta wrap these guys up, or else it's going to
Agreed.
result in frustrating conversions, big plays that could have been avoided if you just sacked the quarterback. So, Ravens, get that cleaned up. I think that's the only, negative that I would say that the defense was doing on Sunday. Some inopportune penalties as well. Patrick Queen had a face mask call, and that was about the only bad play he did, where he blew the guy up, threw him down in the backfield, got called for a face mask. But that doesn't take away from Patrick Queen's game. He had a pretty good game today. Or yes, I keep saying today. It's Monday. Pretty good game on Sunday. Oh, 1 sack at the beginning of the third quarter when the Browns were getting the ball coming out at halftime. Blitz up the middle, kind of just bull rush, forced his way through the center and the guard, and just hit DTR so quickly, crushed him, hit stick Madden all the way to the ground. I thought he was going to fumble. I thought he was going to have a concussion as well because he kind of
I
banged his head on the ground. It was a scary looking hit. but I love the aggressiveness from Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen is really doing his thing right now.
What
And
did I
and
say?
yeah, yeah,
Before
that's
the
good,
season
but
started, what did I say?
only increasing his price tag. So we're going to see where he goes. I don't know if he's going to be with the Ravens next year or with another team, but the Ravens have to be keeping an eye on this because they should be aware that the price tag for Patrick Queen is steadily going up week by week with this consistent play from him. I
That is
just love
true.
how he's making these tackles. Like, he's wrapping guys up and making phenomenal tackles.
He is
Night and
coming
day than what he was
along
doing
well.
last year at the beginning. Remember the beginning of the year last season? Just missed so many tackles. This year, there's way more made tackles than there are misses, and I love it. I absolutely love it. These middle
I'm telling
linebackers
you,
are
you have
balling out.
yes.
Roquan
Give
Smith and
him
Pat
a year
Queen,
with Roquan,
arguably
man.
the best duo in the league right now. Arguably. I mean,
And
tell me
I
who's
said
playing better
this.
football right now. I'll wait. I really do not know. I really cannot know.
I remember saying this before the season started. Give Queen some time with Roquan and watch him work. I've been saying this. So many people have ruled this man out. Him work next to Roquan, and we're seeing that now. Like, I don't know what, like, everyone was so ready. Like, when we didn't pick up his option, everyone was just like, oh, are we going to get rid of Queen? Oh, no, we draft Trenton Simpson in the third round. Is this a sign? Like, dude, like, Queen is really putting together a season, and we're only 4 games in, about 3 or 4 games in. I can't really say too much, but I'm just so happy to see him coming along, making these plays, getting sacks, stopping passes over the middle with Roquan. Roquan is like such a great leader on the defense, and his effect on Queen is showing game in and game out. And the best thing is, it's really only going to get better because once this secondary gets healthy again, Marcus Williams is already on the practice field. I don't know what happened with the pec. We don't really know the extent of the injury, but after the pec injury, Marlowe should be back any day now, depending on his foot. I mean, we see him walking around, so obviously he'll be okay to go at some point. But once this defense gets fully healthy, man, we are going to be a problem. But it's so great to see Queen doing what he's doing right now, shutting the haters up, letting them know I'm here and I'm ready to ball out. And he's been balling out these past couple of games. I'm proud and I'm happy to say that for these first 4 games, I was right about Queen. Just saying, call. But
That's fine. Yeah. Hey, no arguments from there. I love what he's doing. Justin Matabike had a nice sack too. Well, barely, because DTR almost got away from that one as well. But luckily, he was touchdown. Another guy who had one, Broderick Washington, had one all the way back deep in Cleveland territory, trying to step up and get away. Broderick grabbed him, threw him down. Very nice. You love to see the interior linemen get some pass rush and some pressure and some sacks. Like, that's always good to see. But, yeah, in my opinion, star of the show this week was definitely the Ravens defense. They held it down all game long. So shout out to them. I would give them an A- rating. It was very nice to see. It reminded me of old classical Ravens defense where you just were suffocated all game long, couldn't get too many yards. The Browns only moved the ball. I think they only had how many yards? Like 100 and something? They had under 200.
not much.
I
Yeah,
know for sure.
much.
DTR only had 121 yards passing. Running game, not much either from Cleveland. 40. Pierre Strong had that long one for 40 yards, so the rushing yards are a little bit misleading. They had 25 carries for 93 yards, but if you subtract that 40-yard run, they only had 53 yards. So the Ravens held it down. And mind you, that was against backups. I saw Trenton Simpson in there and a couple other second to third string Ravens players, so that's fine. They did their thing. I'm proud of their defense. All right, let's go ahead and switch it over to the offensive side of the ball. The talk of the week, how would this Ravens offense, who struggled like hell against the Colts, couldn't get out of their own way, how are they going to be against this Cleveland Browns #1 ranked defense in every single category, who also had not given up a touchdown or allowed a trip into the red zone at the Browns' home stadium? How would they do? I'll be honest, I was skeptical, but the Ravens are such a confusing team. One week they look absolutely lethargic on offense, can't get out of their own way, drop passes, poor execution. And then they have a game like yesterday where at moments you really could see where this offense could be, like their fullest potential. Yes, they did score 28 points, but the offense was not as consistent as it looked on paper. Just to make that clear. Again, first quarter, completely stagnant. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Could not get a first down. Ravens just couldn't get out of their own way again, flagged multiple times. Those pre-snap penalties were definitely an issue at times, getting backed up with those false starts. Like, come on, man. You got to clean those up. Too many of those. But in the second quarter, after that fumble, we're going to talk about those in a minute. That second quarter, they put up at least 14 points. Yeah, 14 points. 2 long touchdown drives to end the second quarter to give them that 21-3 cushion. And on those 2 drives, that showed you what this offense can look like. The running game was doing very well going into halftime. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden the running lanes were there. And for those last 7 to 8 minutes of the half, I mean, they were just – no one was getting a finger on any of these backs at all. Gus Edwards got going. Justice Hill got going. Even Melvin Gordon came in and got a 22-yard scamper all the way down to the 2-yard line. I thought he was going to score for a second. And that was great to see. The Ravens had on the ground 33 carries, 131 yards, good for an average of 4.0 yards per carry. And also Lamar had those 2 rushing touchdowns as well. So a nice complementary balance in the Ravens offense this week. 131 yards rushing and passing 186 yards. So very balanced, and you love to see that. Keep the defense honest. Show them that you could beat them in 2 ways. And that was going to be if we had a pregame live stream, that was what I was going to have as a key to my game, key to the game, key to the victory. Run the ball and slow down these pass rushers. Get them tired. Take them out of the game. And when you can run the ball up the middle like that, Garrett can't make a play. If you're running it up the middle inside zone, he's lined up on the outside, he's not going to make a play. And that's how you slow him down. On that first Lamar Jackson touchdown where it was set up after that Brandon Stevens interception where he got up and ran all the way down to the 10. That was phenomenal, by the way. Great job, Brandon Stevens. Lamar had that QB keeper for 10 yards and a touchdown. They distracted. They had some motion off the line of scrimmage. The tackle pulled and the guard pulled outside. Myles Garrett got caught up, got flat-footed. Lamar just took off up that hole, took him out of the play completely into the end zone for a walk-in touchdown. That is what you want to see. The movement on the line of scrimmage, get these big pass rushers rolling, choosing which lane to get in, and then you got a guy like Lamar Jackson who's elusive as hell. You can just scamper on in, right past them, make them look silly, and that's how you beat the Browns. You got to run the ball, slow down Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett, and you'll be fine. Now, they did get some pressure, and they still did get to Lamar 3 times, but, you can only do so much against talented edge rushers like that. I thought the Ravens did a pretty decent job of slowing them down the most part. You're not going to erase them from the game plan. That's impossible because they're just too good. But you can slow them down and not make them as effective as they usually are. Like Myles Garrett had 3 sacks against Tannehill last week. This week he only had 1, I think. I may be wrong.
What, talking about Garrett? I think he had like 2.
1 or 2? Well, whatever. The Ravens,
it was like 2.
They did enough on offense to get the job done, in my opinion. I do want to address one quick thing before I let Dom give us his thoughts on the offensive performance. The second half, how it was back to being lethargic, some might say, and no drives sustained at all. And again, I don't mind that. A lot of people were complaining, saying, "Oh, wow, we get too conservative with the lead." I am usually an advocate for that, and I really am. But the way that this game was going, there really was no need to be super aggressive with the lead. Now, if you're playing Kansas City and you have a 21-3 lead, yeah, you need to be aggressive as hell. Agreed. You need to get more points because you never know what kind of comeback Patrick Mahomes could pull out, or the Bills, or any top offense. Dolphins, we already saw what that happened last year. You already know how that goes. So you want to keep stacking the points. But when your defense is dominating like it's 2000, and your defense is just keeping the other offense from not even eclipsing midfield, I really don't mind just running the ball, keeping the clock moving, and punting it back over and over again. Because the defense, again, was having a field day back there. And I don't mind doing that for this game. But again, if we were to play a good squad, like a super good offense that could turn it on at any moment, like Kansas City or Buffalo, then I would definitely would have agreed with those people saying we need to keep the points going, because you don't want to be at risk of getting falling apart, sparking a great comeback. But you could just get the vibe in yesterday's game that the Browns were not going to come back. They were not moving the ball. They kept punting it and turning it over, and you just had that feeling in your mind that the Ravens, I've got this. Putting up those 21 points in the first half against the number one defense in the league was plenty enough to win, and I stand by Monken's conservative play call to just keep the clock moving, not get anyone else hurt, and just, run the clock down, play conservative. Don't mind that at all. But offense did enough to win. Sure, they've got lots of things to clean up. Those fumbles, Lamar, more fumbles again. One of them, I guess, Dom was telling me it wasn't his fault. And I guess I kind of agree. But, dude, try not to just hold on to the ball. Just do it, please. And the other one was absolutely inexcusable. Hand off to Justice Hill. Lamar drops the ball early, and it hits him in the – I was about to lose my mind when I saw that. Because I said, here we go. A fumble again. Kenyon Drake, part 2. That's what I was thinking. I was like, we just had a nice drive. Then another popped fumble, just dropped handoff, and I thought we were going to be lethargic. But, boy, they proved me wrong. They took that pop in the mouth, and they swung right back. And that's exactly what you need to do. Took it down the field, touchdown. Got the ball back, took it down again, 21-3. That throw to Andrews, by the way, was magnificent. I mean, that was I thought it was going to be intercepted. Double coverage, threw it high. Only Mark could get it. Just beautiful. Just excellent. And I'm sorry, the last thing I want to say before I give it to Dom, the red zone offense is looking really good. They are getting touchdowns, and they're cashing in inside the 10. And that is what we want. That is what we did not get last year. It was field goal, field goal, field goal every time inside the 10 last year. And this year, for the most part, through 4 games, they're doing pretty good in the red zone. I think they have an 80% red zone percentage or touchdown percentage in the red zone. So that's a really great start. We need to keep that going. So there's some things that you like about this Todd Monken offense, and there's things that you got to clean up. And it feels so good to know that we are not even close to peaking, yet we're 3-1 and 2-0 in the division. So keep it up, guys. We're still a work in progress, but this was enough to win on Sunday.
Agreed. I feel like it was more than enough to win. I feel like we already knew by that second half it was probably GG's. DTR just wasn't ready for like, this wasn't his best time to have a debut against this defense. So the offense didn't really have to do too much. They pretty much handled all their business in the first half. I really think we have to give a huge applause to the offensive line. I feel like these past 4 games, they've been playing very, very well. Like, even with the injuries, like Stanley was out, Linderbaum was back this game. But it's just really great to see that this offensive line is holding very well. Garrett got home at least, I think, twice in that game. But it's Myles Garrett. He's going to get his regardless. He's just a freak of nature. We all know that. But as far as the offensive line, they deserve a huge kudos because they've been playing really well, and I can appreciate them. No matter who it's been, they've stepped up. Falele, Mustafa, these guys, Simpson, Linderbaum, Stanley, they're doing everything they can to protect Lamar Jackson. And Pat McCarry doing a great job. So I love it. It's great to see them holding strong. I'm proud of them, and I'm happy to have them. One thing I will say, though, I would like to see Nelson Aguilar get some more targets. I think we should open up the offense a little more to our receivers because I don't know. I feel like Nelson Aguilar, he's proven that, he has some reliable hands. Like, he had a pass that would have been a touchdown if he would have got both feet down, but he still was able to catch that with tight coverage. Like, I feel as though we should try to target Aguilar more because he's shown that he can be consistent with catching passes, even with tight coverage. Zay is still great. That's not to be reckoned with. But I would really like to see Aguilar get some more targets. It's really great to see Andrews getting the end zone twice in that game, getting him recuperating into some things. So it's great to see him getting back into it. Lamar, 2 rushing touchdowns. Lamar Jackson, 4 total touchdowns. We love to see the offense gelling. Obviously, of course, there's more things we need to work on, but it's good to see that we're slowly but surely getting into things and starting to get into a little bit of a groove. I would like to see some more passes downfield. This Browns secondary was very good. So I can understand not – but, I mean, he did have some great – I mean, Zay had a great catch downfield and all that jazz. Mark had some great yak yards in the play. At one play, he was just a bulldozer just running over guys, breaking tackles. That was beautiful to see. But it's just nice. It would be nice to see us kind of throw a little over maybe 10 yards. Let's just let the receivers loose, see what happens. Zay, maybe he can catch another bomb downfield, see what's crack-a-lacking with that. But yeah, I agree. I do not I'm not against Todd Monken's conservative play in the second half. No reason to risk anything, no reason to risk our guys either, especially if we have the game in hand defensively. That's just great communication between, or just great coordination with like Monken and McDonald, just knowing that, listen, man, we got the game. There's no reason to do anything extra. Like DTR, I mean, the defense is just too much for the Browns, and they weren't really moving. So I agree with that standpoint. But my point of just getting more guys involved, I still kind of want to see that. OBJ and Rashad Bateman, they were not playing in this game. I don't know when they're going to be back. But it will, once they get back, it will be great to see, again, everyone getting utilized. Specifically Bateman, I would like to see him get more than just like the 7-yard pops. I just kind of want to see what he can do. But yeah, I agree. The offense, I feel like though we're gelling correctly. Bounce back from that horrific struggle last weekend against the Colts. I'm still kind of mad how we barely can do this Colts, but we go against the number 1 defense and we can score 21 and a half. But I digress.
Just to jump in real quick, they got out of their own way. They caught passes. They blocked. They executed. The passes were on the mark. The Colts didn't do anything good. We just didn't hit wide open throws. But anyway, go ahead.
But, I mean, you're not wrong. That's the problem. You're not wrong. But, like, I don't know why we kick our own butts sometimes. This gets crazy.
We are our own worst enemy. Who can stop the Ravens offense? Us. That's who stops the Ravens offense.
Because if you think about the AFC right now, I'm not going to lie to you, it's kind of wide open. Like, there's no team out here that's just looking, like, extremely dominant. Like, the Dolphins just got humbled on Sunday after putting up 70 points Sunday prior against the Broncos defense. The Bills have had their struggle. I mean, obviously that first game, yikes. But, you know, they're slowly getting it together. But we'll see how consistent they can stay over the course of the season because we know Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a great quarterback, but we know he makes, you know, Josh Allen. The Chiefs don't look like the Chiefs right now. They don't, like, their wide receivers are questionable. I mean, they have Kelsey, but if you double Kelsey, who are you throwing to? Like, I mean, you have Rashee Rice, great receiver, Sky Moore. These guys, Kadarius Toney, these guys aren't scrubs, but like the Chiefs aren't looking as explosive as they have in recent past. The Bengals are struggling right now. They're at the bottom of the division. Obviously, it's still early in the year, so they have time to catch up. But man, they are struggling right now. They got shellacked by the freaking Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill, and Derrick Henry just running them over. Like, they have to get it together. They're probably going to bench Burrow. He's obviously not 100%. They need to get him rested and let him heal. Obviously, now they're kind of in a hole, so I don't know if they will because, again, the AFC is so competitive. We don't know. The Steelers get body slammed by the Texans. The Texans, who we beat, by the way. The Texans, like, man, our division is struggling right now. The AFC is wide open. Like this, again, we said it last year, and I feel like this year, again, this is an opportunity. Whenever we have these opportunities, we have to take them because they're not going to be handed to us every day. The schedule isn't going to get any better. Mind you, we still have the Niners on our schedule later in the year. We still have the Dolphins on the schedule later in the year. We still have to play the Steelers, who we play this weekend. And we still have all of our division opponents one more time. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a dogfight, but I'm not really – everyone in the AFC so far has shown that they have a weakness, including us, by the way. But everyone in the AFC has shown that they have a weakness and it can be exploited. And at that point right now, I don't see why the Ravens can't take advantage of this opportunity, get healthy, and go in and make a run. Especially if the offense can continue to gel and continue to perform how they would perform in this game. Lamar running it in for a touchdown, passing it for a touchdown, getting Zay, getting Aguilar, Bateman, OBJ, having them on the field with Andrews, likely Gus, Justice, who Justice played great, by the way, in that game. Justice Hill is so, he will get out of there if you do not catch him in time. I'm so mad for him, too, because he had one run, a great run, that was called back. I was so upset for him because, bro, he got out of there. I forgot what the yards were, but he went crazy. So it's just so great to have them both, Hill and Edwards, in the backfield, just, feeding off of each other. Gus being the powerhouse, Justice Hill being the elusive back. It's just great having them both with Gordon to, throw in every once in a while. And I think we're going to get Keaton Mitchell back pretty soon because I think he's now eligible to come off of injured reserve. So, I mean, man, if the offense can continue to click in the way that we're going to, they started clicking in this game, I don't see why that we can't, continue to go in and make some noise in this AFC because, like I said, the AFC is wide open, man. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my horses on jumping to conclusions about any team because it's only week 4. But, yeah, the Bengals are down bad right now. But Zach Taylor had no intention of benching Burrow. When asked about it, he gave no indication that Burrow's going to be benched.
And that might not be good for him. That's not going to be good for him.
For the next couple matchups, at least.
He doesn't look good. I don't know why you continue with him. He doesn't look good right now. He doesn't look good.
Who else do they have, though? Nothing. They got to get something going. And I really can't blame Zach Taylor because if they pull out Burrow, I don't even know who their backup is. And that maybe that's like waving the white flag in their opinion. I don't mind that because
I get that, but
John, they
that is
got to
true.
win. They
but do you risk?
afford.
You just signed Burrow to the richest contract, and he's the highest paid quarterback
Put your money
right now.
where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is and do your thing. Stand from the pocket and make the throws. Jamar Chase said it in his interview. I'm always effing open. Get it to him. Get it to him then. Put your money where your mouth is. You don't – I get he's not himself, but they – 3 points, are they that – I love the struggle. Keep going. Keep struggling.
No, I'm not – of course. I love the struggle too.
But listen. The Bengals are in win-now mode. They have to win. And their best chance to win is to have Joe Burrow on the field. We all know what he can do. And they got to get going. They can ill afford to fall 1-4 or 1-5. And I feel like I have no clue who their backup is, and that would just be a complete game changer if they were to bench him. But I do see your argument. He needs to. They want to get him healthy, but their bye week isn't for a little while. So I feel like if their bye week was next week after the Cardinals game, then maybe you could rest them. But the fact is they have a slew of games coming up, I think. I may be wrong on that, but I feel like their bye week is not for a little while. I know the Browns' bye week is next week. That was also a factor to why they probably benched Watson for this game, so he could get 2 full weeks to recover. And the Steelers' bye week is coming up as well, either after our game or they might have one more game, but their bye is on the horizon. So I can see why they might pull Pickett, who also got hurt in the Texans game with an MCL injury. So you can see why they might pull those type of guys. But Bengals, yikes. They've got the Niners coming up. They've got some let me go ahead and just check on their schedule real quick and why they need Burrow
Yeah,
now.
I mean,
Bengals.
I can see why you say they need Burrow, and of course they need Burrow. He's their pilot who drives the whole ship here. But at
Right.
the end of the day, like, dude, I have not seen the Bengals offense look this lackadaisical in a while. Like, it's just they are struggling
Okay.
right now, and it's bad.
Agreed. But here's their next couple games. They have 2 more games before their bye week. So it's not a slew. I thought it was more than just 2. They've got the Cardinals on the road next Sunday. You never know how that's going to go. If the Cardinals can pull off, it's at their home. Last time the Cardinals played at home, they beat the Dallas Cowboys, the 3-1 Cowboys. So you never know. If they can get James Conner going, that could cause some problems. And then they have a home game against the Seattle Seahawks, which is not a gimme. So they need Burrow, because then they have a bye week, and you want to be sitting with at least 2-3 or 3-3 before you get to the bye week. You know why? Because when you hop out of the bye week, you've got a game against the San Francisco 49ers, who will look arguably the best team in football right now, sitting at 4-0. So they need to win both of these games, or else they're going to be not feeling too hot. Because if they win one, you're potentially looking at a 2-5 start to the season, which would be amazing. Because then you've got the Bengals. You've got the 49ers. Then you've got the Bills. Then you've got the Texans, who is not a gimme. And then you have the Ravens again. So you have a slew of gauntlet games down the road, Dom. So you need Burrow now to rack up these wins, because the season could slip away quickly. And I can't believe we're having this conversation about the Bengals. And
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
This is why it's like alarming, because we saw the Bengals as our biggest competition in this
But
division, and right now they are not. Look, and again, of course, it's only been 4
right.
games. I'm not sitting here saying that we're gonna holy crap Bengals panic mode, but at the end of the day, like, dude, if they don't do something and do something quick, trouble.
And that's what
They
I'm
are
saying.
in trouble.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they want to get moving, they need their guy. That you just said they paid him to the largest contract in NFL history. Put your money where your mouth is and get the ball rolling. Okay? He looked okay against Baltimore. So, well, he did tweak that injury at the end of the game. So maybe he wasn't as hurt that whole game, because he did put up 2 touchdowns to T. Higgins. Another thing, T. Higgins has a fractured rib. We'll see how that impacts his availability as well. Last thing, I want to touch on the Steelers. We might be facing Mitch Trubisky for the second straight year. We'll see. In Pittsburgh, because Kenny Pickett exited the game early. But there was a source that came out today that said he may not miss any time. But it's going to come down to, do you want to throw Pickett back in there, or do you want to wait for the bye week so he can get 2 full weeks of rest?
I'm not gonna lie. I feel as though, knowing Mike Tomlin, I'm not saying I know him personally, but seeing how Mike Tomlin has operated in his career as Steelers head coach, I feel like Pickett will sit, because if you
I
think
agree.
about it, he wasn't really looking good before he went down. So, I mean, you put Trubisky in, like, does he give you a spark? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
I think he does.
Yeah. He probably does. Hopefully not against us, but he probably does. And like, he can give you something different, because again, Pickett he didn't look good against the Texans. Like, the defense was eating him up and spitting him out. Like, it was ridiculous. So
I loved it.
It was funny. It was hilarious to see. But hopefully he's okay though. We don't wish injury on anyone. But like, yeah, so like, I feel like Pickett will sit. We probably will see Trubisky on Sunday. We played him before, so this won't be anything new. I'm just hoping we're going to be more healthy going into it against him, because he's not, like, he's still a vet. He knows what he's doing. Not saying he's a top tier quarterback, but he knows what he's doing. Kind of like the Gardner Minshew situation.
Let's give a shout out to Houston Texans too, because 2-2, they've won 2 straight games against AFC contenders. A playoff team last year, Jaguars, just absolutely whooped up on them last week.
Which has caught me by surprise.
And then go home and put up 30 on the Steelers defense, which is supposed to be amazing compared to the Steelers fans. Yeah, we can shut that down, please. And even if we struggle against them next week, that doesn't mean their D is good. That's just, that's AFC North football. I still don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are that good. I hope I don't eat my own words. We have the more talented roster, and we'll break all this down on Friday. We have the more talented roster. There's just no way we should lose to them unless we just play terrible. Every aspect we're better, I think. Only thing they have an advantage on is edge rusher. Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt. Those guys are great. So we'll have our work cut out for us. Our tackles will have their work cut out for them on Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. And I agree with you. Mitchell Trubisky probably will start. And he's effective. He really is. How many times did he come in last year and get wins for the Steelers when Pickett was struggling?
Yeah. We got to treat this like the Gardner Minshew situation. We can't sleep on him because he knows what he's doing. If
you rewind to last year's game in Pittsburgh, the Ravens actually could not really stop him. The only thing that he was doing was effing up and throwing interceptions every drive because they were on the move every single drive. I was at that game in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field or Acrisure Stadium. We were not stopping them consistently. He just kept throwing it up for grabs and was getting intercepted. So if we can crank up the pass rush this time and limit the run game, I think we can stop Najee Harris. I'm not a fan of him. Their O-line's not very good. Clowney, go crazy. We can go ahead and limit them to not even move the ball because Trubisky had a ton of time last year, and he was able to pick us apart at times. But then he would get greedy and force a pass down the field and get intercepted. So hopefully he makes those bad mistakes, and then we can also crank up the pass rush a little bit. Last thing I wanted to say before we get on out of here, Dolphins. What do you got to say? This is what I've been saying. They have not played anyone super good. The Dolphins are the best team in the league when they whoop up on teams they're supposed to beat. Denver, god-awful. The other games they had, I can't even remember. Chargers, they're okay, but they almost lost that too. But we all know the Chargers' defense is atrocious as well. Week 2, I forget who they play. Who's their Week 2 game again?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm looking. I want to look because I have a point to make here. Dolphins schedule. Just while I'm looking at this was the first time they've played an actual good defense, like a really good defense and a really good team altogether. And the Bills reminded us that this is the Buffalo Bills division. It belongs to them. They're going to have to take it from them. Patriots, they won 24-17. And they were slipping away in that game, too. So
they were Patriots all the time.
Let's go ahead and hold our horses on the Dolphins. This is what I've been saying the whole year. And, of course, they play the Giants next week. That's going to be another blowout. Panthers, God, their schedule's easy. And then they're going to be playing the Eagles and the Chiefs. So that is going to be a real big moment for them to prove themselves that they're not just the same old Dolphins. If they could beat both people from the Super Bowl last year, that would be impressive. And my prediction, I don't think so. I really don't think so. 20 points. They scored 70 on the Broncos. They go to Buffalo. They get destroyed by 28.
They got humbled very quickly.
Buffalo slapped them, and I loved it. Buffalo looks like the best team in the AFC right now. They've won 3 straight games in blowout fashion.
We'll see.
This one was against the undefeated Dolphins, the 3-0 Dolphins. Absolutely destroyed them. 48-20. Josh Allen had a magnificent day. Stephon Diggs destroyed that Dolphins secondary. And that's another thing. If the Dolphins offense doesn't score 40 points, that defense can't keep up. And they keep showing you. You cannot trust this defense. I mean, the Dolphins defense almost allowed Mac Jones and the Patriots to come back in that game. It came down to a tackle on a lineman lateral play that was inches short, and I think you could have gave him the first down, arguably. So you never know what could have happened if the Patriots would have got a first down right there. So, yeah, they did make history and putting up 70, but we already know the Denver Broncos are atrocious. They're just so bad. And I know they beat the Bears, but, that's like the toilet bowl game. No one cares. That's the Caleb Williams Bowl. And then they gave up 34 4 to the Chargers. I mean, their D does not look that great. It really
It
doesn't.
doesn't. It
So
doesn't.
we're going to see how they fare against top-tier teams later in the year. Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys against a good defense or decent defense. They've got us, and they've got another game against the Bills. So we'll see where they stand. But, yeah, the Dolphins are definitely a solid team. I'm not dissing them. I'm saying they're trash. I'm just saying they might not be as legendary as people are letting on.
Agreed.
Because of, the quality opponents that they – and I know you can only play who's in front of you. We say that all the time. But that was a pretty alarming game. I didn't think they would be smacked 28 points, okay?
The Bills had that safety help over the top to contain Waddle and Tyreek. And, I mean, teams are probably going to look at this tape and be like, oh, shoot. Well, I mean, if we can just do that to shut down Tyreek and Waddle, I mean, Mostert didn't have much. I think he had a couple of yards and a fumble. Like, I mean, they kind of got exposed.
And Tua was under siege, too. Tua got sacked 3 times, and he'd only gotten sacked 1 time this year. The Bills flipped the script, got to Tua. He was intercepted on a wild overthrow, and they looked human. They did not look great.
Yeah, just wait till Vaughn gets back.
Oh, no. Yeah. Right as of now, that division belongs to the Buffalo Bills, and it's up.
We'll see about the Bills. I'm gonna hold my horses with.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying 4 games. It looks like it's
they've had a good 4 games, but if I know the Bills these past couple of years, they've kicked their own butt a couple of times. So we'll see if they can consistently stay good. But so far, so good for them going into the season.
How you said that is how I felt about the Dolphins. If you asked me last week, exactly how you said that. But anyway,
so we gotta see. I gotta see how they do because we've seen Josh Allen do too much and then end up losing games. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right, I think it's time we go ahead and start wrapping up. This was a great, fun week of football. I really enjoyed last week. Ravens were the only victorious AFC North squad. All other 3 lost in blowout fashion. So that was a really good thing to see. Week 4 is about to wrap up. Tonight we've got Seattle and the Giants. That game is currently at halftime with an 11-point lead for Seattle at 14-3. A loss for the Giants here, that would really put them in a tough spot at 1-3 because then they've got some harder games coming up. They've got the Dolphins next week. Yeah, go ahead and prove me wrong, Giants. Go beat the Dolphins, and then I'll really be excited. But anyway, yeah. Their season they're kind of like in the Bengals predicament right now. Like they got to start winning. They really have to without Saquon. But yeah, Seattle's doing fine. They're doing their thing, looking to improve to 3-1. I'm probably going to go on and turn on the second half when we finish up here while I wind down for the evening. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Dom, any last messages before I close this out here?
No, man. Excited to be here on this Victory Monday. Glad we got the dub going into this weekend. Hopefully, we're just as dominant as we were this past Sunday. Excited to see what happens, man. Let's see this offense continue to click.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see where we go. We got so many things to work on. Let's see if we can continue to make the progress. And we'll see you guys on Friday for the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Baltimore Ravens breakdown. I may have to, and Dom, we can talk about this. I may have to see if we can squeeze this in on Thursday. I may be going away on Friday. So we'll keep you guys updated, and Dom and I will talk and let y'all know on the social media page. But anyway, well, thanks again for tuning in and spending your Monday evening with us, talking about some Ravens and some AFC and some other games. It's been fun, always fun on a Victory Monday. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a like and a subscription. If you enjoyed, comment down below. Ask us anything you want. We would love to answer and get back to you guys. Did your team win? I mean, let us know. All right. Well, guys, like I said, please leave a like and subscription. We're on the road to 50. We're getting closer. I think we're about 20. We have 19 or 20. We need 30 or 31 more people so we can switch over to the better platform. We want to try YouTube Live. So please go ahead and hit that sub button if you enjoyed. All right, guys, we'll see you later this week. Go Ravens. Go Seahawks. And we'll see you guys on Friday. This is Gonz signing out.